Welcome back to the channel, everybody. I want to do a quick video and talk a little bit about how my approach to player collecting with modern players has shifted a little bit over the last few years and what I'm really kind of focusing in on now. But first, wanted to just kind of point out I do have some things coming into my collection in the next few weeks. One of which actually completes a project I was working on, which kind of prompted this video because it started making me think. Now I'm down to two major projects that I'm working on. And maybe think about what's next and how do I want to kind of expand the list. Now granted, the projects that I have will still take the better part of a year or more to be able to do, which is fine, but I'm like, what are the things I really want to have in my collection as opposed to being completely random? And I kind of expanded it to a few sets that I'd like to be able to complete, and sets that I've been thinking about over the last like 4 or 5 years that I think would be really cool to be able to have complete in their entirety. But I also thought about player collecting. So I collect three main players. Stan Musial, who's the only vintage player on that list that I can collect in his entirety. So with Stan Musial, his collection's finite unless you want to include modern cards, which I don't for Stan Musial. So I have the Topps run, I have the Bowman run. I'm working on some of the other releases during that period of time, including the Leaf card, to be able to kind of round it out. I don't think I'll go to really obscure cards that cost a lot of money to be able to kind of add those in my collection. But I think I will be more or less considering that to be complete when I add in the final Redmond card that I need, the Red Heart card, and the Leaf card. And maybe some of the other Topps test issues like the Stamp or something like that, or the 63 Bazooka. Those might be part of that list, but probably not until I get those things first. As for modern, Derek Jeter is one of the players I collect. I focus mostly on his gold parallels, and I'm trying to get all the gold serial numbered parallels for the base sets that were released from 2001 all the way to 2015, which was his final season, and I'm getting pretty darn close. I'd like to have all of those and have them all graded. And then there's one other player that I've talked about before, but I haven't really shown a lot of his graded cards because up until like the last maybe year, I didn't have a lot of his graded cards, and that would be Albert Pujols. I do have a lot of cards in my collection that I'd like to be able to get graded at some point, but as far as Albert Pujols collecting, I focus on two areas. One, again, being the gold cards. So he'll be from every set from 2001 all the way to 2023, which I think is pretty cool. This was the first year he wasn't in any set of the years they've had the gold parallels. He can get like 23 years of top sets just by focusing on one player. But I also wanted to kind of start working on the refractors, the heritage refractors specifically. They're serial numbered to, at least this one was a 673, and they vary per year. But they typically are going to be well under 1,000 in their print runs. Still pretty easy to get. When you get into the early 2000s, that actually was kind of a lower number, but that certainly has changed over time, where that's like kind of a bigger number as far as a print run goes. This is probably the only one that kind of is a little bit different. I've shown it recently on the channel. It's the Platinum Anniversary. This is from the base set. It's a base set parallel. This was supposed to be like kind of the chase card for the 2021 set that was made just for that year and that year alone, but they didn't continue, kind of like the Diamond Anniversaries for the anniversary set of 2011. So I thought it was kind of cool I was able to pick up the Albert Pujols for that set, but I don't have any intention of getting any other ones for that set. I just wanted the Albert Pujols. And then I mentioned we're trying to do the gold cards too. So here's the 2020, which I think the 20 and the 19 are probably the worst gold parallel designs in my opinion. But that one didn't really cost me a lot to be able to acquire that and add it into my collection. I have the 2018. This is the Topps Update Gold Parallel celebrating his 2,000 or 3,000 hit. It's kind of a cool looking card. Regardless of whether or not you like Albert Pujols, it's just kind of a cool looking item on there. It's got Mike Trout pictured in the picture as well. Here's a heritage one that's not a refractor. This is the 2011. It's the regular chrome. At some point I want to get the refractor for this one. This is numbered out of 1962 to commemorate the year. We got that there. Then we have 2010 gold, which I think is kind of a pretty neat design, the way they did it, commemorating 59 years of collecting, so it's the 59th anniversary set. Again, look at the differences between these two gold cards, and which one would you rather have in your collection? Yeah, better set design. Not to bash on 2020 completely, but I'm sure there's some people that like it, but I just thought it was kind of disappointing. And then I have the final two here that you guys have seen numerous times on here, and then I don't really have anything graded between those years. And that's going to be the gold parallels from the rookie set. So I got probably the most difficult ones to get. I have the 2001 gold rookie card right there for you, and then the 2001 National League and American League Rookie of the Year card featuring Ichiro and Albert Pujols. Ichiro will be going into the Hall of Fame this year. So that's kind of my approach to modern card collecting. I don't want to try and get it all because I just think you have to draw a line somewhere, and I think those are the two areas I really like. I have the Sapphire run for Albert Pujols. It's not super long, and that's perfectly fine with me. Kind of rounding it out now. I'll have one more to show that's coming this week that rounds it all off. But that's kind of more or less my approach to modern card collecting. I do at some point in the future want to kind of expand my master checklist of cards that I want to be able to pick up to complete sets. So I might be talking more about that in the future over the coming months. But for the remaining months after this order comes in, it's going to be more vintage focused after this current order, which includes some modern in there, because I'm going to be really trying to hammer down the commons from 1953 Bowman and getting probably some of the commons, but also maybe a Hall of Famer or two for the Diamond Star sets from 34 to 36. So I'd like to see how far I can get this year with both and start the new year fresh with a smaller checklist for both of those, and hopefully some items I'll be able to acquire over the course of some of the card shows, the bigger card shows that I plan to go to next year. So that's it. I hope you guys have a great rest of your week, and I'll be back soon.